Shall we intro?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Internet. I'm Emily S.W.
Sam.
And we are back reacting to a festive movie this time. A Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Classic. No Muppets. No Flintstones.
No, this is a Thomas A. Edison film from 1910.
Yes, available on YouTube.
So, I actually learned this is not the oldest iteration of this movie.
Oh.
There is an even older one that was made in 1901.
1901. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's old.
Yeah. Yes.
That's kind of...
But the entire print no longer exists.
Mm.
Only about 3 minutes. It was only a 5-minute thing. So
Yeah.
how you fit the entirety of A Christmas Carol in 5 minutes? I mean, this is already pretty sped along at 10 or so minutes. But only about 3 minutes of the 1901 one still exist.
Gotcha.
Apparently.
That's crazy.
It is also on YouTube, I just checked.
Mm.
It is also here. But
Bonus.
yeah, that's not the one we're watching. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
That there's been so many versions of this story recreated all the time.
Yeah.
So many different versions, retellings.
Yes.
Because the novel was published in the 1840s.
Yeah, so it wasn't even really that long before the 1901 film.
No.
It's about
But
6 years.
It's just been an enduring story ever since.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I, personally, the one I'm most familiar with is The Muppets Christmas Carol, which, if you've been watching the channel, I do reference in my everyday life on a fairly regular basis, and it has come up previously. Because that is who I am as a person. And obviously Scrooged is the we cannot react to Scrooged. We are going to watch it personally, but not on YouTube, because we don't want to get demonetized.
We're not monetized in the first place.
That's true. We don't want to get sued and be negative monetized. But, Christmas Carol is one of those stories that just always applies. Because we live in a society.
Well, it's not actually about Christmas. Christmas is just the vehicle for the story. The actual story is a commentary about poverty.
Yes. Poverty, greed, lack of empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which are always applicable, sadly. But yeah, so this is an adaptation of the original. There are no Muppets. Again, sadly. What are you going to do? We can't all be perfect. We can't all be Muppets, right? So... Some of us are just born people, and we have to live with that.
Alright.
Anyways.
Should we get started?
Yes.
Alright. Hitting play now.
Can you make it full screen? No, we see here the different colors for daytime and nighttime. This lovely orange hue indicating...
The orange tone. That is the day.
There's Bob Cratchit. Please, sir.
Different book, same author.
That's true. That's true. It's another thing I quote a lot. Please, sir, can I have some more? Just comes up.
Who would have thought Charles Dickens would be just part of the everyday?
An icon. Him and Shakespeare. But yeah, so we just saw the people the charitable...
charity.
My brain is rotting out of my head. He was like, no, fuck off.
I'm assuming the one who came up to his desk is the nephew. He was also followed by a whole crew here.
Yeah, he's got a posse. I think, is one of those supposed to be the woman he wants to marry?
Maybe.
There's not a lot, we're getting the title cards with text, but, this, I think this could use a little more dialogue.
I think it's depending on the audience being familiar with the story.
Yeah.
Which even, over 100 years later, we are.
That's true. Even if some of us are more familiar with 2 Marleys versus 1. Humbug. This my biggest complaint about this, spoiler alert, we never get a bah humbug.
The ghost effect is pretty cool, though.
It is. It is very effective.
Mm-hmm. He looks like a ghost.
He does.
This framing is also very strange.
It is very strange. Boy, that clock.
Unless this particular piece of film was damaged.
Mm.
The clock. The fireplace.
You could be a blob of mustard. Bit of moldy cheese. I will say, something I appreciate about silent films in general is how expressive the actors were forced to be. It's kind of like charades.
Yeah, kinda.
Oh, it's Fozziwig's. I don't actually know what the character's name is. In the Muppets Christmas Carol, it's Fozziwig. It's Fozziwig's annual Christmas party. They're dancing, and this is where he meets the love of his life.
Mm-hmm. How are they going to depict that?
Now there's another Christmas after this one.
Oh, there we are.
And she's like, but you said we were going to get married. And he's like, no, I don't have enough money. And she's like, well, bye.
Well, she left.
This is what happens if you let money control your life. Your girlfriend dumps you. Your ex-best friend comes back to haunt you. To Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast. Another criticism I have of this version, not a lot of Tiny Tim. Like, we see him here. Little ghostly boy, kind of in the background.
Oh, yeah. Well, we only had 10 minutes.
That's true.
Now we see him on his crutch.
It is, I think you're right. I think this is very heavily reliant on the audience's knowledge of this story.
I'm assuming that this other figure they're talking to is probably supposed to be her father.
Yeah,
and he's refusing to allow a proposal because the nephew doesn't have any money.
Want and misery. Yeah, see, this is what happens if you're a rich bitch and you don't share your prosperity with other people.
And I'm assuming the figures with the hands are supposed to be want and misery.
Yeah. Here he is, regretting all of his life's choices. And now the thing that all men fear most of all. Significantly less terrifying.
Yeah, this is just like a person in a veil.
Yeah. Like, every other version of the story, the ghost of Christmas Future is terrifying in some way or another.
Because I think in the novel it was described as just like a hooded, cloaked figure who never spoke, but no one speaks in this, so you can't convey it that way.
Well, in the one that my wife is most familiar with, I believe it's the 1980s version, the ghost of Christmas Future in that one, like, lifts his cloak, and there are screaming, hellish children, and it's like the starving children of the world or whatever, and it's very traumatizing.
Well, that's terrifying.
Yes. There's also something similar in Scrooged.
The one that I watched with Mom the other day, it was just like a Grim Reaper.
Yeah, that's the one in the Muppets Christmas Carol, too. I think the scariest one is the one in...
And I think, because the one that we were watching, I was reading, and I guess it's like one of the closest to the actual novel, and the children, want in ignorance, are underneath the robe of the ghost of a Christmas present.
Okay.
Which is what was portrayed in the one that we watched.
Yes. That makes sense.
Which they showed here, they changed it to want and misery.
Okay, if you missed it, he woke up, now he's discovered the meaning of Christmas and not being a miserable old geezer.
Yes. And the headstone had said he died without friend.
Yes. So now he's trying to fix his life. Which you can do all in one day.
Obviously.
All you gotta do is find those charitable gentlemen and give them money, and find your nephew and give him money, and find your employee and give him money, and a goose. And then your life is fixed.
Yes, she came out with a whole animal on her arm.
Yeah, she's got like half one around her neck, too. Scrooge is giving his blessing. He's very happy about it. Also, when you stop being a miserable old geezer, you also get hugs. So if you're into that, maybe try being generous. Cratchit, why weren't you at work today? Well, it's Christmas, sir. You gave me the day off. That doesn't sound like me. Just kidding. Here's a goose. I'm gonna give you a raise. Quick, better put that on the fire or it won't be done until New Year's. I'm so generous. I can't get over how generous I am.
Still managed to turn this around.
Yeah.
The end!
The end! Happy ending! Yay! He has friends now! So that is one of the OG Christmas carols.
Yeah, one of many, 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 many versions
Yes.
of this.
Yeah, again, we obviously can't react to all of them, but this is a very interesting story to watch all the versions of, because they're all different. And especially in the ways they interact with each other, and also the ways they interact with the original text. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that got, again, I think it suffered from a lack of bah humbugs in the text cards.
There was actually no sound in that, too, with my volumes on.
Oh, wow, a very silent film. Usually we have these on mute.
Yeah.
That one was just silent. Yeah, so that was it. Do we want to tack on the 3 minutes?
Do we want to watch the 1901 one?
I mean, it's only 3 minutes, right?
Yeah, I guess we might as well.
Bonus content!
Alright, apparently this is the first cinematic depiction of the story, which, I mean, makes sense considering this was made in 1901.
Yeah.
Scrooge.
Bit of foreshadowing. We start with the gravestone there.
Mm-hmm.
The set is very elaborate in this one. I'm trying to figure out, is this Scrooge?
I think so.
Because at first I thought the guy in the scarf was Scrooge, and then this was Bob Cratchit. But then the guy in the scarf left. No, this must be Scrooge. Oh, you gotta blow the candle out. Gotta save that, match bill.
Scene 2, Marley's Ghost, shows Scrooge visions of himself in Christmases past.
Well, that's a little different than the story. Marley doesn't show him jack shit. He just comes and threatens him.
That's one way to do it.
I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty great.
And then just like a hole opens up in your door, just a void
with a face in it. That's more terrifying than the ghost, honestly. I really appreciate his little pilgrim hat. See, he's really selling this whole I'm being haunted thing. I appreciate that.
This guy is younger than our previous Scrooge.
I was just about to say he looks kind of short too, but
short.
I don't know. And maybe it's the set. He looks very small compared to the rest of his house. See, now this is like kind of like in A Muppet's Christmas Carol, where he comes home and he puts on his dressing robe and then he starts to eat dinner. Like, I'm familiar with this vibe. Sleeping at the table is new, though. He's literally just a man in a sheet. Like Charlie Brown.
Incredible. I'm really curious to see where this is going to go if Marley's Ghost is showing us the scenes now.
Yeah, they kind of smushed Marley and the Ghost of Christmas Present together. Oh, here's him falling in love. And then being dumped.
Despair.
Oh, woe is me!
Visions of Christmas Present. Bob Cratchit and Fred drink to Mr. Scrooge.
Oh, this is interesting too. Bob Cratchit and Fred being bros. Oh, the sign in the house says God bless us, everyone.
Since there's no dialogue in this one, we had to insert it in a different way.
Unwanted creature, but not... Oh, fuck, what is it? Not a rat, a toad, or a cockroach. I know. It's Ebenezer Scrooge. I have a little more Tiny Tim here. He's not very tiny.
No. Oh, it's just the same ghost. Ghost in a sheet.
Yeah. Low budget. They spent all their budget on the background.
Apparently, yeah.
To Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast. See, this is interesting to me that because we have an Xmas here.
Oh,
I thought that was a modern invention.
Bob and Fred aren't bros. They're two separate ghosts happening at the same time. Marley's ghost shows Scrooge his own grave and the death of Tiny Tim. Now, see, that wasn't necessarily touched on in the other one. We just saw Scrooge's grave.
Yeah, which is interesting because Tiny Tim is usually a pivotal point.
Pivotal.
I'm telling you, my brain is melting out of my ears.
Oh, that was
Grave.
the whole thing.
Oh yeah, because you were saying, like, because it's from 1901, not the whole thing hasn't survived.
Right.
Yeah. But we know the end of that story.
Yeah, he changes his ways. Yeah.
He gives the Cratchits a goose, and Tiny Tim, who did not die.
Yet.
Yeah, I mean, he will die eventually. But probably after Scrooge, so, like, Scrooge doesn't care. Who cares?
Yeah.
So that was our Christmas Carol adventure.
Mm-hmm. Didn't know you were going to get a 2-for-1 today, did you?
No.
Colleen's not even expecting that.
Psych. Well, that was our Christmas special.
Yep. A little different from what we usually do since it's not gothic horror.
No.
Spooky.
I mean, there's ghosts.
There are, yeah.
And the threat of doom.
I want to say this is probably the most gothic Christmas story. At least as far as classic cinematic examples. Okay, so it was still on brand.
Mm-hmm.
We still did the same thing we usually do.
Yeah, so that's it. That's it from us.
Yep.
Happy holidays. Bye, humbug. Bye.